You know, leading up to Christmas can be a really difficult time, or it can be this joyous high, or it can be this time of meh. It's like a roller coaster of emotions leading up to and during Christmas. And that happens for a multitude of reasons, right? We all have varying experiences. Sometimes we are in the throes of grief, of maybe loneliness. And other times we see that twinkle in a child's eye, or we get to be with family and friends that we have so enjoyed looking forward to being with. And so it's kind of this weird mixture, a bag of emotions. And so whether or not we are having those joyous, or maybe we are in the valleys and we just want to sleep through it. We don't want to have to deal with it anymore. How might we celebrate, live through Christmas, no matter wherever we are? There's this great quote by the theologian Rowan Williams that I'd like to share with you that kind of helps with understanding the meaning of Christmas. The story of a God who is totally committed to what God has made and loved and worked with, whose action and purpose are all directed towards our flourishing and healing. What God has made, and more significantly has made known in the loving action of Jesus, God will not abandon. That what we actually celebrate on Christmas is that God came to us in the form of a child, a vulnerable, weak child who needed to be cared for, that God said, you know what, I'm going to be with you, and I am not going to abandon you, and I am going to be in your life in every way that you experience life. God said, I wanted a greater connection. And so here we actually are getting to celebrate of living through, focusing upon that God wants us to flourish. God wants us to be healed. God wants us to know that we are not abandoned. And even when we are unsure of any of those things, when we're like, it's been years since I have felt or I have known, that God doesn't quit us, that God keeps trying. And with the celebration of Jesus' birth, we are actually celebrating that God is not quitting us, that God's love is present with us in all its different forms, whether we realize it or not. And so how does that focus? If we're focused on that, not on focused what we are missed or missing, focused on what the pain of this season is, focused on what gifts we've gotten to get, what we can't wait to be open, but instead shift for even just a moment of thinking about this as a time to say, God has not abandoned us. God's love is still present with us, even when we are unsure of it. So what would it mean for us to focus on that for at least a few minutes this day? May all of our Christmases, all of what we are experiencing, may we get a glimpse of God's love not leaving us this day. Merry Christmas.